Guys, what about having a sandwich during sex? I mean, when does that happen?
Yeah,
Never.
that is pretty cool.
I want to thank you.
know
I want
about
to thank them for normalizing that moment.
I agree.
honestly.
It's a funny show that kind of
Sure.
like, it leaves you kind of wanting more for that reason. Like, it is an amuse-bouche. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
a little bite. It's a little moment in time, like,
I
that
get
we can
it.
all relate to. Like,
The best appetizer.
and it's so funny because Kramer was also the original, like, he was, oh God, like just him sliding in and just such a classic, opening that door. Like, he was just that quintessential TV character.
He was your
I mean,
annoying neighbor.
It's okay.
Yeah.
This is facts versus hot takes. Let's
I'd love
go.
to. I'd love to.
Bring out the numbers.
Bring out the numbers. Seinfeld was the most watched show on TV ever. It stayed in the top 5 of the Nielsen ratings, which was a thing we used to have. We don't really have that anymore.
We don't use a Nielsen no more?
We don't. Not
Who is
really.
Nielsen?
I've been checking Nielsen. Who number
Yeah,
one on
no,
Nielsen?
no, they don't really do it
You're
anymore because
checking
there's so much
Nielsen?
streaming.
I thought it was Newman.
Oh, well, interesting because Friends, I'm looking at my
Yeah.
report here,
Yeah.
technically more popular because it had more consistency with its high ratings across the run that Seinfeld did.
Well,
so
they
it was
had a
more
shorter.
consistent.
And Seinfeld had 9 seasons, and Friends had 10.
Oh, sorry, one more season.
and the finale got 76.3 million views.
Well, Friends is way
Yeah,
more
that's
popular
insane.
today.
Yeah, it's way more popular, and it had 20 to 25
We're not talking about
views per
longevity yet. We're
episode.
talking about actual
Well, we're
facts
talking
of
about
when it was
longevity.
on.
Well, we're talking about
When it was
longevity.
on.
It was the number one show in its last season.
Yeah.
It was the number one show in the last season.
So was Seinfeld. So I feel like
And
they're
that's a
both.
lot of people for people that are not watching a
Yeah,
consistent
and-
But
Storyline.
how many people
got
are on,
50%
how many people
more.
are on TikTok and doing Chandler Bing inspired outfits?
This. Absolutely
Nobody's doing
this.
that.
I mean,
I don't
Somebody's
even know
doing
what
this.
that is, Alyssa.
Also, Friends just penetrated culture in a different way because, like, okay, the theme song, right? Which I
Yeah.
cannot sing, but you're
Yeah.
singing it in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That became a number 1 hit,
Yeah.
re-recorded
Yeah.
by Rembrandt for like a year.
Yeah, but you hear
Like,
the
that's
Seinfeld.
crazy.
But you hear the
Seinfeld.
When
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld didn't even
No.
exist.
Yeah, you hear the little.
Yeah.
I can't
we
do
can't
it.
do it.
Can't do it. But like you hear that, and immediately you know that feeling that like.
Yeah, you know
It
that
wasn't a
feeling
number
of
one hit.
yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
a
but
number
it
one
was a
hit.
number 1 hit.
And to be honest, you
But the
play
show
that.
was a number 1
you
hit.
play that whenever one of your friends like bombs. Like if someone says something and
Is
it
this
doesn't
from
go well.
experience? How do you know that?
Yeah, that's what my friends do whenever I make a joke and it doesn't land. They play the Seinfeld hit.
They do.
Yeah.
So they care
But-
about you and quality. So that's why they play
No.
it.
Love these
Y'all are
shows.
comedians.
Well, you're a comic.
I get to laugh at y'all's jokes.
Courtney,
and
you're
comment.
funny.
Thanks.
Courtney, you're funny.
Thanks. I
Courtney, you're
try
funny.
a little bit.
Yeah, but like let's set up the time, right? It was the 80s. Sitcoms were like these family sitcoms. Everything
Yeah.
was like kind of goody two shoes. And then comes along Seinfeld, this very popular stand-up comedian from the 80s. And they have a show about absolutely nothing that just becomes the most epic. I think it was like the most influential show of all time, is what they said.
And I think it's
Who
interesting.
said that?
Somebody said it.
For me personally,
Yeah.
I feel like Seinfeld radicalized TV because Seinfeld really kind of set the tone for like having 4 main characters, these really strong character archetypes.
And I feel like they were like down for you to hate the characters because they are so unlikable sometimes. And like Jerry Seinfeld did situational humor, and I feel like he like really popularized that with that show. So we all were like, yeah, I feel like it bred a whole new style of
I
comedy
agree.
and
I think-
comedian. Also, did you know that the pilot originally didn't have Elaine in it?
Whoa,
What?
I didn't.
Yeah, and then they were like, you need a female POV, and Elaine like makes that show.
I
I'm like, Elaine's one of my
love
favorite
Elaine.
characters.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the
That's
first
early
of its.
Seinfeld.
Also, there was no show that was ever started with stand-up. Like stand-up was like kind of a booming art form in the 80s. And there was not like a lot of guys like Jerry Seinfeld. There was like, you know, the big characters.
Yeah.
Like who was famous in the 80s really? Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
It's like
Mm.
Roseanne.
Rodney
too.
Dangerfield.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Yeah.
like these kind of aggressive male types.
Mhm.
He's like,
Uh-huh.
you know, like, and then comes on Jerry, this like Jewish sort of like, I'm just a guy. Like, and
Yeah.
he sort of started this whole brand of like white male comics. So, you, Jerry Seinfeld. If you're watching this,
But I
it's
like
your
Jerry.
fault.
I like Jerry because I felt like Jerry was like, we all know Jerry.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I feel
Yeah.
like that's why Seinfeld was a little bit more realistic and easy to like connect to.
Mhm.
You know,
There's also that moment I feel like whenever Jerry would like do something or like something messed up would happen, someone would cut in line, a bathroom situation, and there's that second where he goes, am I gonna say something? And then he's like, I gotta say
gotta
it.
say
Like,
something.
you know that
Yeah.
guy where you're just like, okay, I think relax. I think it's like not your job to like correct society's weirds.
I mean, I think that it's, you know, Mary Tyler Moore was a show that changed the trajectory for women in the 70s because it was like this working woman. Did Jerry really do that? He just kind of came on there and was like, oh my God.
I know. I think he just
So
stereotyped
is it really that good? Is it really that good? Like Seinfeld, I know what you guys are all saying. It was amazing. But like, was it? Because I think that it's like the show about nothing. And obviously, you know, I'm here to kind of be against Seinfeld.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, it really did kind of encourage mediocrity.
I mean, okay, best episodes of Seinfeld for
Obviously,
you.
for me, the Soup Nazi episode. I feel like I personally relate to the Soup Nazi because I like things very particular. Basically, the friends, they're trying to get some soup. And that's the tea. That's the tea. They're trying to get some soup. And the Soup Nazi likes things very particular. You have to order your soup a very particular way. And we see what happens when some of the characters do not order soup the right way until the queen, Elaine, through a series of fortunate/unfortunate events, gets the recipes to the Soup Nazi. And it ends with like her screaming in his face. Like she's like trying to end his career.
She had the soup recipes. Yeah,
iconic.
Iconic. Elaine dancing, obviously for me, like that always comes up. Just man hands. The naked episode where Jerry's dating a girl and she's like nudist, but then it all gets messed up because she's opening a jar or something.
How about the episode where they all are trying to be the last person to have sex?
No, the last person to masturbate. Yeah. And that was really like iconic because
that's us.
Up until then, it was very hard to get any kind of sexual content on TV, especially like on a sitcom.
Back then.
And so they really pushed the envelope of like, you know, like Larry David, who is the creator of the show with Jerry, like of how much they could get away with still like being under the covers with it.
Yeah.
I guess it is. I will say, like, even just like the soup episode, it is cool that they can make a whole episode about ordering soup.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be honest, that's pretty amazing.
Memorable.
Seinfeld was an epic show. I mean, these people were, we didn't like these characters, okay? They were like, the protagonists were people that we would not get along with.
Realistic.
And then these characters, they transformed TV sitcoms. I mean, the Soup Nazi, like, till today, people are like, they still say, no soup for you.
No soup for you.
So,
why is Seinfeld just only complaining?
Guys, what about having a sandwich during sex? I mean, when does that happen?
Yeah,
Never.
that is pretty cool.
I want to thank you. I want to
that.
thank them for normalizing that moment.
I agree.
Honestly, because
Yeah.
That is
that
pretty
has changed
cool.
my life personally.
But I didn't know that. That's not as like
What about when
revolutionary.
Kramer? Yeah, that's, you forgot the sex
I didn't
sandwich
know.
episode?
I mean, that's a cool thing. It's not.
It's really
It's not in the
cool.
zeitgeist the way that
It normalized
Friends
it.
is.
It's definitely in the zeitgeist. Also, you can go, what's the deal with? And everybody already knows you're talking about Seinfeld.
But that's
There's
because of
nothing
Jerry
more iconic.
Seinfeld's comedy career, not because of the show.
No, but the comedy career and his show.
Whoa.
What are you guys doing?
Like, will we not have the show
Jerry,
without the
Jerry.
comedy
There
career?
was a little bit of like, will they, won't they within Seinfeld as well. And also, like,
Not really.
Every sitcom was about a guy, a girl. There's tension. There, like, this was finally something not about that. Like, it's not about weddings.
I don't
it's
want
not
to predict what's going to happen
It's about single
eventually.
people living in New York City and dating. And like, I would say that they set things up for Sex in the City in a weird way.
Sex and the
Because
City
it
is
was like
pretty iconic.
kind of about like things that would happen out in the city. These characters were built. Let's talk about the characters that they built. I mean, every celebrity that's ever known mankind was on Seinfeld, also on Friends.
Bryan
Okay,
Cranston
yeah.
was on Seinfeld.
I mean, yeah, these little appearances would like make your career just from being on there. The fur jacket. I mean, I just love the Jewishness of it all too. Like, it was just about this little part of New York with like these people who just like you couldn't stand, but you wanted to be their friend all at the same time.
Yeah, and the like Judy Geller is also Jewish, and
Sure.
what was the dad's name? Mr. Geller.
I mean, parents.
yeah,
Let's talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
Jerry's
Oh
parents.
my God,
Iconic.
Jerry's
Yeah,
Jerry's parents.
parents.
Well, Ross and Monica's parents were amazing.
It's a funny show that kind of like, it
Sure.
leaves you kind of wanting more for that reason. Like, it is an amuse-bouche. You know what I mean? It's just a
Yeah.
little bite. It's a little moment in time like
I
that
get
we can
it.
all relate to. Like,
The best appetizer.
and it's so funny because Kramer was also the original, like, he was, oh God, like just him sliding in and just such a classic opening that door. Like, I mean, you know, it sucks, obviously, what happened later in Michael Richards' life. We'll get
Girl.
to that. But like, he was just that quintessential TV character.
He was your
I mean,
annoying neighbor that set up all the other annoying
but you loved to
neighbors.
hate
Yeah.
him and you loved him. And like, he was just the original stir of the pot. Like,
Yeah.
he stirred the pot. Like, you knew he was going to do something that was going to mess everything up. It was like a domino game.
But
He
you
was gonna-
loved it.
You loved it.
Mhm.
Larry David, hello. Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is basically Seinfeld 2.0.
Yep.
One of the best shows on TV, continues to live on forever and ever. Jason Alexander's in a million movies. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I mean, did you guys watch, was it Tuesday?
You mean Veep?
No, the movie that she just came out
Both.
with.
I saw the
Notable.
trailer for
Oh
it.
my God, with a bird.
It looks
I wanted to
really
make fun of it,
sad.
but it's really good.
It is.
Yeah, and of course V. Oh my God,
Yeah,
fucking V.
that is
Like,
an
how can I
amazing
go
show.
over that?
But
Friends was popular, but not right away, you guys. Like I told you, the pilot was like received very badly.
Yeah.
And like, I wish that shows could breathe that same way. But like, so cool that we have this package show now that can come. Even
I have a
Seinfeld kind of
question.
came back.
I have a question for everybody at the table. Sorry, everybody. Why do you like Friends and Seinfeld, both iconic? We've agreed. We've gone through it. But why do we think that so many shows that came out around that time all got reboots and those two didn't?
Well, you can't.
That's interesting.
It's hard
Because they're
to-
so popular. There's a resurgence.
I
They're back. We're
know.
dressing like them.
Reboots,
Maybe
how do you
because
mean, like-
maybe because it was done right.
Well, and actually, I think
Because I think about like Full House, like how
Yeah.
Full House,
Well,
Will and
the
Grace had a
Friends
long ass
cast,
stretch, and they
said
came back.
they wouldn't do it because they were like
Yeah.
they wanted to protect like
Mm.
What
so
it- what
that's
it
why they did a
was.
reunion instead.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we can't possibly recreate like what
Yeah.
we did, and we
Right.
never would want to destroy that. Also, like we said, it has this crazy resurgence. Gen Z loves it. Urban Outfitters, like one of you
You
were
can
saying
get a Friends
earlier, like
sweatshirt.
have a Friends sweatshirt, have that style, like Y2K
because
is
we're
making
kind of
it come
coming
back.
back. We're kind of
Yeah.
coming back to that time where like the way they dress is cool,
Absolutely.
and like the way that
Oh, yeah.
the way life is really simple is cool. Like
we
they
don't
have,
need to modernize
They have
it.
phones,
Mhm.
yeah. Like they call each other. They know each other's phone numbers. Like they play games. They go out to a bar. They walk. Like I think there was also like let's look at the time too. Like think about
Yeah.
why we needed that show at that time, right? Like the '90s was this like. I don't know. It's just this perfect. I love it. Let's go back. Let's just all go
Yeah.
back to the
I also
90s.
there's like a huge Gen Z thing about how not having cell phones and how that like is
We didn't have social
calming
media.
and peaceful for them. Like they're like
Yeah.
it's literally stressful now. Like the earth is deteriorating and it's stressful. Like let's go back to a time when it's like we just wore jeans and a tee and like sang Smelly Cat.
And that's why,
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Cafe.
think about
It's
like,
a
and
simpler
also the
time,
way
huh?
that they were neighbors, like in Seinfeld and Friends, they were all kind of neighbors. And
Yeah.
I think that people
Community.
don't have that community anymore. And so when you watch it on TV, it feels like, oh, okay, Joey's coming over and I made jam for him.
I want that. I miss that.
And we don't have that because, but
Yeah.
I love whenever my friends are like, hey, Alyssa, I'm in the neighborhood. And I'm like, come on in. And I will have jam.
Yeah.
Because I like jam.
I love jam.
Come
One time
on
I
in.
stopped by
I'll FaceTime you
Alyssa.
midday.
I
Alyssa
will.
made me a full breakfast.
Yeah.
I just stopped by eggs,
So nice.
toast with jam. I think you made bacon.
Oh yeah, I made bacon.
love
yeah,
bacon.
but we need more of that. And I
Yeah.
think that the way that everybody's just like, not to say it, but everybody's on their phones. Which I hope you're on your phone watching this episode. but you gotta log off every now and then and go over to your friend's house and make jam.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
like complain to your friend about like cutting in line.
Yeah,
you know what I
go-
mean.
Go to the diner with your friend. Get a cup of Joe.
Eat soup.
Get
Eat
soup from the guy that
soup.
makes soup hard to order.
Dance, even though you're not really good at it.
Yeah.
So
you
no
know?
reboot because it's both series are perfectly imperfect. For
I
the
think
time that they
so.
were
I think
created.
I think
so.
that's what makes them perfect is that they are exactly what they like. You don't want to change it. Okay, you know what? I started this whole thing really fighting for Seinfeld, but lately I've been going through this thing where I realized that starting in stand up in the late or early 2000s, it was a very toxic all male environment. So I feel like I just kind of was pushed to like that show because I was supposed to. And even though I love it and I think it's brilliant and I love Curb Your Enthusiasm, even though I've auditioned for it many times and never got a role in it, I'm going to move over to the friend side
What?
because I feel like as an immigrant, it made a really big impression on me. And now that we're talking about it, the moments just feel more tender to me. And they
got her.
feel, I don't know, they feel like they were
got her.
more driving towards me. I don't know. I'm sorry, Courtney,
Not the
but
tender moment.
I'm just a Monica. Yeah, I just thought they were hot and I wanted to be them. It was very confusing. And so I'm going to go over to the friend
Amen.
side. I can't believe it.
Amen.
Seinfeld and Friends, right? Both cute shows. Both shows leave me asking, where the black people at? So for me, although I can appreciate both shows, the winner for me today will have to be Will and Grace. A show that came after both Friends and Seinfeld, but a show that I personally connect with. Like, am I going to be like a gay lawyer? Am I going to be an interior designer? Am I going to be unemployed? Am I going to be rich and drunk? Who knows? But either way, I have fun with that show.
Wow.
I appreciate that. I
Wow.
love that you
Iconic.
chose a thing we weren't even talking about.
No, because
Damn
you know
right.
what? Without those, like they're the
Yeah, you wouldn't
parents
have
of
Will
your
and Grace
baby.
without
Exactly.
Seinfeld.
I have a love-hate relationship with stand-up, and I love Seinfeld. And even though I went over to the friend side, I have to acknowledge that Seinfeld was the most iconic show of all time.
Well, and ultimately, like me hearing Seinfeld not get a lot of love made me be like, wait, I love Seinfeld.
Exactly. I'm sorry.
Like, there is no funnier episode to me than whenever George goes to the video store to try to rent a movie. It's already like someone has the movie, and then George like goes to that person's house.
It's in the wrong box.
To watch the movie with that family. That to me is like, first of all, that's perfect 90s video stores. Like it's everything because I remember going to the movie, like trying to rent a movie, and it was like, oh, it's already like rented. That is the perfect. That's a perfect plot for a show. And so for that episode alone, I do have to give Seinfeld.
The simplicity of the 90s. It does highlight the simplicity of the 90s.
It's such a perfect episode.
It is, all the episodes were perfect. Like, not to get dorky about Harold, but like it's sort of set up how like a perfect Harold episode should be.
And if you don't know what a Harold is.
Yes. Oh yeah. So it's a long form improv game where you play, there's 4 scenes, hopefully. 3 or 4 if you do it right. 3. Yeah. And then at the end, it all sort of like wraps up in a way where all the scenes kind of come together. Am I doing a bad job?
Yeah, no. It's an improv format that like makes a story easy, and you have A, B, C plots and things like that. But it's true. The writing on Seinfeld and Friends was pretty iconic, and it's like both of them still like stand the test of time, like are so
it's like perfect
still.
TV.
Yeah, it's perfect TV.
It's perfect TV. Like nothing really is the same. Like you can like go through it and there's like probably a joke per every 2 minutes or per minute. Like
you're just laughing the whole time.